Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Archontou here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. So happy to have some time with you today on this Thursday. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And as you know, Thursdays is when this is the time we share the mic now with Black women in our community to share their stories. I've had the great honor of speaking to hundreds of women on this Thursday platform, and today is no different. I'm so grateful to have with us here today Nadia Murdock. Nadia really focuses and spends her time just thinking about women's wellness and really focusing her attention to that space. And what a wonderful way to to give back. And we're so excited to hear a little bit about her work today. So welcome, Nadia. So happy you could join us.
Hi, Helen. Thank you so much for having me.
So I want to tell everyone a little bit about you so that they can get in that mindset themselves. We have this little gift of time together today. So not only does everyone get to learn about you, but hopefully it helps inspire women to think about their wellness and some of the great opportunities that you're going to talk to us about today. Nadia is a mindset and movement coach with a BA in psychology. She's certified in cognitive behavioral therapy, and she is the founder of Nadia Murdock Fit. Her journey to doing this work, she lacked movement and was weighed down mentally with fears. And really, she felt that it was really making living a full life impossible. She eventually embraced the transformative power of a health-focused mind and body to become a certified fitness instructor, a coach, and a writer. Her education and her experience are in the interlocking battle of fitness and psychology, including pregnancy and postpartum. Her mission and purpose are focused on motivating others to adopt a self-positive mindset, leading to healthier choices and body confidence. Her train your mind is echoed in her content, in her writing, in her interviews, in her social media, in her newsletters, her videos, her press commentary. She has a robust portfolio leading the charge to help women take charge of their minds and their bodies. That extends over a decade. And so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I love it.
Well, I love everything you're doing and what you've done. And, it sounds like, and I, very often when we, meet professionals that are in this space, which I really know is so much more than a job, right? I mean, because this is really a way of life, right. What you're doing here. I always have learned that there's like a journey that people have, gone on to bring them to this moment, because again, it is so much more than a job. Could you tell us a little bit about your wellness journey that really brought you to being so passionate about this place that you have focused it in, every aspect of your life?
Definitely. So I like to say that as I evolve, my company has evolved. So when I first started fitness, my goal was really to appear aesthetically fit, but I wasn't really paying attention to my mental health at the same time. So even though I was in one of, sometimes in the best shape of my life, I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of the negative thoughts and the things that were going in my head that was propelling me to over exercise and to compare myself to others, and really to a life of deprivation when it comes with food. And then at one point I was like, no, this is not a way to live. Food is meant to be enjoyed. I'm supposed to do fitness because I love it, not because I'm trying to fit a cookie cutter image of what society feels is fit or attractive. And so as I grew, my company grew, and then as I had kids, once again, my mindset reset. Postpartum, it's hard. Now you have a little one, and now you're trying to get back in shape. And in comparison to my postpartum with my first son, in comparison to my second son, I really was a little kinder to myself with my second son, who I had in 2020. I had my first son in 2016, and in 2016, that's when I started to realize, like, the information I'm taking in affects me dramatically, right? So I was looking at Instagram, I was looking at Facebook and other women who were going through pregnancy and postpartum, and they would snap back, so to speak. And I was like, well, why can't I get there? Why am I not there yet? And then that negative spiral of internal conversation starts. And so, I learned these lessons, and as I learn them, they transpire in my classes, in my teachings. And I have a BA in psychology, and I was like, 2020 is when I really wanted to elevate the mindset coaching piece of my business. And so then I got certified in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and it just woven together, perfect timing. And as I'm helping myself, I'm helping others, and it's just been a great journey.
And I'm a social worker by training, so I really appreciate and understand kind of the importance of CBT and
Yep.
how it really is transformational in terms of mindset.
Yep.
Before we talk about that, though, you use the term body confidence,
Yes.
and I know that there's a whole movement,
Yes.
that really is focused on that space, and I think that as women, right, we spend so much time doing exactly what you said, just being so focused on, trying to, have the perfect shell, right? But the reality of it is, it is just that. So can you talk to us a little bit about the body confidence movement and, what that means? Because it's not really connected to size,
No,
right? Which I
no,
think,
no.
for so many of us, right, we're so hooked into what we need to look like because of those images, that
Right.
you pointed out so perfectly, that we spend so much time like fixated on.
Yeah. So I think for me, I thought I was being body confident before kids. And I think that the light bulb went off after I had my first son, because it was almost as if I wasn't really practicing what I preach. And so I think after I had my first son, I was starting to realize that I'm so lucky that my body can move. I'm so lucky that I can do things with my body that some women can't, and so it was a deeper appreciation of what my body can do, more so than what my body looked like. And so I think people get lost in body positivity, that you should love your body all the time. And in reality, that's just not the case. And then that in itself puts a lot of pressure on us, because I should be loving my body. Why don't I love my body? And that's okay. Because just like some days you feel great and some days you don't feel so great, it's the same way you have that relationship sometimes with your body. And I think just dialing back into that inner gratitude of what your body can do and what you want it to do, and working towards that goal is the essential piece of getting there.
So, you also talked about kind of that mindset piece, and you said something which, very often we don't hear when we think about our bodies and our health. You said food is to be enjoyed.
Yes.
And I think that that's something else when we get into these like
Right.
these conversations, that we feel like you have to eat like a bird for
Right.
and that's what's going to create like optimal health, inside
Yeah.
and out. But that's one of those like dances, right, that we,
Mhm.
do in our head about getting to actually enjoy food, but not getting it to the point that it's, bogging us down,
Right.
with our bodies. So what tips do you have around that kind of dance, if you will?
So I think it's really important to do some self-reflection. Like, why do you feel, what is your relationship with food, and why do you feel that way? Like for me growing up, food was categorized as bad or good. And I feel like that kind of becomes an innate part of you naturally, because, like many things growing up. And so it also depends on the conversations you're having, the people you're having those conversations with. How do they view food? Are their relationship with food influencing your own relationship? And I think once you kind of figure out, like, wait a minute, I'm snacking right now because I had a really bad day at work and I love how this makes me feel temporarily. And so now I need more and I need more. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a lot of us don't take the time to do that and to have those hard conversations with ourselves, because we're also always on the go, right? You go to work, you come home, you do your thing. So you're not really taking that time to just really like dial in and ask these serious questions. And so again, every magazine, every book, every social post, skinny this, skinny margarita, da da da, And so all of these are influences for years that you're subjected to. I read an article where girls start dieting at as young as the age of 8. And so that's really sad because you don't even, when it's such a part of your life, you don't even realize that it might be doing more harm than good. So I think it's a lot to do with self-reflection and really like figuring out like, well, that conversation didn't make me feel so great, or reading that article did not inspire me. It actually made me feel like crap. You know what I mean? And I think once you start doing that, you can start pinpointing what you want to remove and include in your life.
So when we are ready to start moving, physically, hopefully we're kind of getting to the point where, we're identifying, as you just pointed out, where some of the places and spaces in our mind, need to have attention so that we can kind of, move ourselves into making healthier decisions.
Yes.
And as you said, I mean, we all have moments. So there's that too, but that, making like long-term healthier decisions on a whole. So what do you recommend for kind of just getting moving, from your
Yeah.
body perspective? How do you try to translate that then into wellness for your physical being?
It's very similar. I think sometimes with what we're influenced with, we're always trying to do what's trending, right? So, like the time of when CrossFit was big, and then you heard everyone was doing it, and then you heard everyone was getting injured by it because maybe it's not for you, right? And so, I think it's figuring out what you enjoy doing. And once you find that, you're going to stick to it. You're going to want to do it. And most importantly, the reason why you're doing it. It should always start with you. I mean, short term goals of fitting into a dress for a party or a reunion, sure, but that's not long lasting. Same thing as a diet. A diet is a quick fix. The same way a fitness routine should not be a quick fix. It should be a way of life. And so once you find something that works for you, like if you like jazzercise, have no shame and go to jazzercise because you're moving your body in a way that brings you life. And I think that's really important. And so once again, it comes back to the comparison thing. Don't compare yourself to what other people are doing. Do what you want to do and make sure the reason always starts with you.
So, obviously so many of us are, especially after coming out of these last 2 years, right? We're, maybe we were moving a little bit more because, we were trying to get outside because we were, when we had the opportunity. But so many people are walking around with different stress, maybe more weight because they were, not feeling their best emotionally, and that was translating itself into, maybe doing some eating or some, activities that, obviously we heard the statistics of, alcoholism going up
Mhm.
off the charts, over this, these last 2 years. Um, you know, what are some ways that, now that the world is opening up a little bit and, we're trying to get back out there, what are some ideas you have for us to be thinking about, making, starting on this path from a mind perspective and a body perspective?
Yes, definitely. Well, I love the idea that the weather is getting better because I know for me, like even this morning, it was a little gloomy, and now that the sun's starting to peak, instantly my mood has alternated. So I think anytime we can find a reason to be outside, and I know some of us may be working on a hybrid schedule or still working from home, you can still take it outside. I like to take my meetings, if it's via Zoom or a phone call, I make it a walking phone call, a walking meeting. You know what I mean? And especially on those days where everything's go, 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 you have to start getting creative in ways that you can get outside. There's a lot of walking groups that have started to develop, very similar to running groups. There's now outdoor fitness because some people aren't really comfortable with going back in the gym just yet. So outdoor yoga, outdoor Zumba, so much stuff that you can do. And I think it's really asking yourself what you want to do. And then if you're not sure, try everything. That's what I did. Like when I first I was very intimidated to get into fitness in the beginning of my journey, like that whole concern, who's watching me, who's this? And then, you may start in the back of the classroom and then you might be that star student that's always there. But I think it's important to just try everything. And in trying everything, you will really open your mindset to new people, new experiences, new ideas. And that just fosters growth all in all.
Yeah, and I love the idea of, making sure every day you actually have one call so you can walk
Yes.
with it. That's such a great reminder for all of us because, one would hope, right, that we're coming back from this time with some lessons learned. And, with the reframe, the great shuffle, the great resignation, that's happening with the workforce. One of the things, I would hope that we all prioritize for ourselves is, sure, there's a work day, but somewhere within it, create a little bit of space for you to be moving each day. And so you can feel the health benefits of that.
Yes, for sure. I remember my first job, there were these older women, they always had sneakers with them. And then like, I'd never see them at lunchtime. And that's because they were out for a walk. And and they would eat at their desk after, but that is like, right. Cause then they had to go home and they had to do, so like, if it's important to you, you will find time or find a way to make it work. And even if it's a 20-minute walk, even a 10-minute walk, you still went outside and you will feel the difference on the days that you do it versus the days that you do.
Yeah, no, I love that. So the other thing I just love for you to share a little bit about, I mean, we have obviously come through this, crazy time, and you are a business owner.
Hmm.
And, we know that businesses took, such a turn, with this, these last few years, and those that are still around in the businesses that they were in prior.
Yeah.
Everyone does have a story about how they made it through, and I think that those stories have been so empowering for others to hear. So I'd love to hear how you got through this time, how you found your business evolving because of what was happening around us, and you know where you are today with it all.
Yeah. I love this question. And I know we're 2 years out. I don't find that this question ever gets old because I think everyone has a really unique story, as you shared. I was pregnant during the pandemic and I was teaching in studio. And so, right when the pandemic hit, most of my business was in person. So, I had always wanted to do digital and video live streaming classes, but I just always put it off because I was always in the studio. So I think this really pushed me to do that. Like right now, like there was no excuse. And I was pregnant and I was like, no, I went against that because like I did have that internal conversation. Oh, I'll wait till he's born. But then I quickly debunked and I was like, no, now is the time. I'm going to do it now because once he's here, that's going to be another reason to put it off. And so, like, you really find internal strength that you have, but you're tested to utilize it. So, I transformed my whole entire business online. I did a number of coaching, small cohort coaching sessions with other entrepreneurs that were pivoting as well. And that just really helped me grow my network, helped me look at my business growing in a way that I'd never looked at it growing before. And so that has also allowed me to reach people a lot further, Florida, Texas. One was in Mexico, and like in ways that I wasn't before. And so I think sometimes when we're presented with challenges, although they are scary, they're presented to us for a reason. And if you look at it that way, instead of looking at it as a victim, you'll come out of it much stronger.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing your journey because, like you said, I don't think it gets old either. And I do think that, hearing each other's stories really are where a lot of us get our inspiration and realizing some ahas, for ourselves about, roots and, paths to take going forward, especially if you are feeling a little stuck.
Exactly.
Just getting to hear. So for our viewers, I know we're putting up here on the screen, and I just want to make sure that I shout out to our viewers that you could connect with Nadia by following her on Instagram, by going to her website. So tell us a little bit about when we're following you, Nadia, what can we expect, and how can we engage with you and your business? And as I'm saying this, I'm going right to my Instagram account. Making sure
I
that
love it. So on Instagram, you'll find a lot of inspiring reels, content, client testimonials. I love to really share, as I said, as my company evolved, I evolved. So I really like to share personal anecdotes that I've learned and really inspire others. And I find that that has really worked and helped to personalize my connection with others. With my website, you'll find my live class schedule. You'll find my mindset coaching offerings. And also in 2023, I will be offering fitness retreats, starting with Costa Rica. I'm sure we're all dying to travel more again. So that will involve movement and mindset and just a beautiful atmosphere. Again, just to grow your experience, meet new people, and see another way of life.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's a great evolution of your business and adding that piece, because we know when, it's so hard to find dedicated time. I mean, we're talking about taking, a half hour to go for a walk, but the
Right.
reality of it is, there's some deeper work that, really we
Oh, yeah.
need to kind of get ourselves in a different place, and having a space like a retreat with a coach, a wellness coach like you with us, really is transformational. So it's so
Definitely.
wonderful that you're able to create that.
Thank you so much, Helen. Like sometimes we just need to get away and not be distracted. It's so easy to be distracted with like our phones and everything at our fingertips. So just being removed from it is just a great place to start.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, one of the questions I was going to ask you is what's coming for the, what's ahead for Natalie Murdock Fit. But I guess we know this is it. This is what's coming for you is moving into this retreat space. That's exciting.
I'm very excited about that. And it's something, once again, that I feel like going back to like with the pivoting, once you take that one step, you're not afraid to keep stepping further and further. And so retreats is something that I've always wanted to do, but I've kind of put off. It's too laborious or whatever reason I came up with. And nope, now's the time.
Yes, yes. No, I love that. I love that. And I hope some of you watching can get connected with Nadia and really think about creating that space for yourselves in your lives, and joining her. I mean, that sounds fabulous.
Thank you so much, Helen. I appreciate that.
It really does. So I want to again make sure that our viewers know again your website and also your Instagram account so that they can connect with you. And there are no excuses here. If you're busy working, if you've got kids, if you're a caregiver to an older parent or family member, your health, your mental health, your physical health, your well-being are really key in you being able to be there for the others in your life. I know very often we shuffle ourselves to like 2, 3, 4, 5 on the list, and put everyone else at the top. Do you have any kind of strategies or techniques, to keep ourselves at the top of the list? Anything that you share? Because I know that that's one of the things as we're slowly wrapping up. I know that a lot of women really struggle with keeping themselves on the list at all, let alone at the top of it.
Yeah. I think sometimes when we think about putting ourselves on that list, it has to be a big thing, right? It has to be a day spa experience, or it has to be hours out of the house. Something as simple as closing the door and taking a couple deep breaths, or using your favorite facial oil and really like just putting it on and not rushing, or taking the time to get ready and not feeling guilty about prioritizing yourself. I think these are the simplest things that will then lead to a continuous behavior. Because I think when we are putting other people before us, we feel guilty when we want to put ourselves first. So when you start with the little stuff, it becomes a habit. And I think making it as small and as approachable as possible will help get you there, and not make it a big thing in your head.
Well, I love that. And we definitely want to make ourselves a habit.
Yes, exactly.
Our wellness, definitely.
It's not a bad thing. It's nothing to feel guilty about.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, I really enjoyed our conversation today, Nadia. And, I always feel like I know we hear this, and I know that we've had this conversation in this space on YWTV before, but it really never gets old, because unfortunately, for so many of us, our default is to go back to not taking care of ourselves,
Yeah.
and just doing it for a moment. And that's why it's so important to keep having that thought process interrupted with these conversations.
Exactly.
So I am so grateful that you could be here and share this with us. And for our viewers, as I always say, YWTV is about getting information out there, helping you think about, living your best life, and of course, embracing, our mission of being empowered, for sure. So part of all of that is you not only really soaking in what you just heard today from Nadia and following her so that you can kind of stay on this path, but sharing it with someone else in your life. And you can easily do that by taking this broadcast and sending it through Messenger, through a text, putting it on your Facebook page. Just, let someone else also benefit from this conversation and all the great information that, and inspiration that Nadia has shared with us. And I also want to encourage all of you to, just drop something you learned here in a conversation.
I love that.
Drop it's that easy. It's that easy. It is like planting seeds and them popping up and growing.
I love that, because that one little thing that you drop, someone might be thinking it and or may have not thought of it in that way, and then that's how the conversation starts. So I love that prompt.
Yes, and I really appreciate how you shared, and it's something so good for us to all remember about how, as our life changes and evolves, how our mindsets change and evolve, and how you've gone deeper and deeper into this work and in different ways, as your life has changed. And it's such a reminder for us that there's always room for growth.
Hmm.
Always.
Definitely. Definitely. When you stop learning and you stop growing, that should be when we're no longer on this earth. You're never too old to learn something new. And I see that in my parents, and it just lights me up. So you're never, yes, always aspire to learn something new, at least once a day, if not once a week. That's what I always say.
I love that. I love that. Well, with that, folks, we hope you have a fabulous day. We hope that you, shuffle your list, put yourself at the top of it, make some good changes, schedule yourself in for a walk.
Yeah.
Start there, and then if not, from there, think about some other things you can do, and you can definitely get plenty of ideas by going to Nadia's Instagram account and her website, and being inspired by all of the great work that she's done for us, so we can just benefit from it. And we hope that you join us. There's plenty more YWTV coming, with lots more great conversations with our community. And I also just want to make sure that we have on your calendar that April 25th is our Racial Justice Awards. It's in Maplewood, 6 to 8 p.m. It is an in-person event. We are finally getting back to seeing people in person. We will have precautions in place, but we're really excited to be there. It's one of our really signature and most special events that we do each year. Even when we did them virtual, it really was by far one of my favorites, but it's wonderful to be able to gather. And we're honoring 4 tremendous honorees this year, 2 organizations, 2 individuals, 1 youth within our individuals, which I always love to see. So come be inspired by them, learn from them, keep them as role models, so you can think about how you can be working along our mission of promoting peace, justice, freedom, dignity, and equality for all in your daily life, same as your health. That's another thing that you should be focused on in your daily life as well. And so much other great stuff happening. You can learn about all of it at the YWCA's website, or by connecting to us on our social media as well, whether it's camp or wellness programs for seniors. So much for you here at the YW. Thank you again for spending this time with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Helping us put our minds in a healthy, positive, inspired space. And best of luck to you as you keep evolving. And we look forward to watching where you go next.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Have a wonderful day.
All right.